It's MC Monty in the place to be. Welcome to the adventures of MC Monty. This month's theme, Wonder Woman. Yeah. My partner and I recently attended Superman Celebration, and in preparation for Superman Celebration, I was working on this Wonder Woman cosplay for Dana. We entered the cosplay competition and we won first place. Yeah, I'm so excited about that. So this video, I'm breaking down the award-winning cosplay that Dana wore at the Superman Celebration. This video will be building the skirt. So gather all your supplies. Everything you need is listed in the description below. And let's make this awesome Wonder Woman skirt. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Like, cold pizza is just as good as hot pizza.
Yeah, I agree.
DC.
That for a second, but I decided I agree. In this case, Danielle wanted to study the effects of generative AI in the context of someone's actual job.
In this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to layer the skirt and what pieces go on top of what pieces. This is the bottom layer of the front of the skirt, and this is the top layer of the front of the skirt. And you're going to lay them in orientation just like this, and then sew this onto the bottom layer. If you are not sewing and you're working with glue, then you will glue this part on just like this. So this piece came from this pattern, this front center pattern, and it was cut on a fold. So when it's cut out, it will look like this. And I also added 4 inches. This piece comes from front center top layer piece, just like this, and I added 4 inches. I'm going to lay this top piece onto this bottom piece and pin it into place so that it's ready for me to sew. This piece, that's your front center bottom layer, is also your side bottom layer. So you're going to cut 2 of these, one for each side, left and right, just like you did for the front. This piece is your back center top layer, and it's also your side center top layer. So you cut 3 of these all together. One of those is going to be used for this side piece, and you're going to line it up just like you did the front panel. Next, you have a top piece that goes across the hip and a bottom piece that goes across the hip. Top of your belt hip, bottom of your belt hip. And you're going to line it up like so. So I'm lining this bottom hip piece that goes across your hip, the belt. I'm lining that up with the edge of the side piece. I'm lining this up with the edge, and then I'm going to line the top piece up with this back edge, and that is how I know I'm getting a good placement. So I'm going to pin it into place so that I can sew all of this down. Once again, if you're not sewing and you're gluing, you will be gluing all of this down. I'm lining it up so it just has a little bit of an overlap. Repeat this same thing for your other side panel so you have a left and a right. And to prep the back, you're going to cut out 2 of these, one for each side, one for the right and one for the left. And then you should have cut out another one of these back center pieces as well. You're going to layer your back center piece on top of the side back pieces. So I overlaid it about 1 inch. So I have this much overlay, about 1 inch. So my back will look like this when I sew it into place. So you should have your back panel prepped, your side panel prepped, two sides, left and right, and your front panel prepped. Now sew or glue, secure all of this down before you move to the next step. Now that all the panels are prepped and I pinned everything in place, I'm going to sew the front of the elastic closed. I took a few panels off so I can do this step, and I left pins where those panels need to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew the front of the elastic closed. To do this, I'm going to sew an X into the elastic. Okay, so that was part 2 of what you need to do to create this Wonder Woman skirt. And I edited the video in the proper order of operations. But in real life, I did part 3 before I did part 2. So right now, coming up in part 3, you're going to hear me repeat a few things and repeat a few of the layering ideas and showing what piece needs to go on top of what piece. So part 3 is going to help you pin everything into place and prep it to sew on top of the elastic. All right, have the beautiful Dana modeling the Wonder Woman shirt as we work on this skirt. Look, can't talk to you. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a strip of elastic that is 1 inch less than Dana's waist. So that gives it a little stretch and it's going to stay in place and fit. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pin the elastic into place so that we can work. It's going to stay there as we work. I'm pinning it right on Dana's waist because that's where they want the skirt to fit. So that's a good adjustment right there. It's going to be. All right, so now we know where the skirt is going to lay from the pattern. You cut out your marine vinyl that looks just like the gladiator skirt. So what you do with this first piece is you cut it on a fold so that trace it, cut it out. It looks like this. Now we added 4 inches to the pattern so that this can fit right on Dana's waist and it can still be long enough and look appropriate for the skirt. So this piece is the center piece. It pins right in the center. So line it up in the center, pin it into place, and you're all good. This next piece is called front center top layer. So you cut out this piece. Once again, we added 4 inches. Cut out this piece. It lines up in the center just like this. Pin it into place. So those are the 2 front panel pieces. The side panel is going to work just like the front panel. Turn to the side, please. You're going to put your side panel in place, just like that. Pin it where you need it to go. This side panel piece is the exact same as the front panel piece. So it makes the pattern work easily. Next, you're going to take your side top piece and pin it into place just like we did on the front. And it goes right in the center of that panel. So the front and the side of the skirt come together very easily. Rotate one more time for me, please. No, not that. We're going to do that. Now you're going to take your back panel, the one side of the back panel, and you're going to pin it. This is the left side and the right side, and you pin it into place just like that. Make sure they're even. Pin it into place. Now you see everything is coming together. This back is lining up with the side, and you can see how the skirt is starting to come together. And you take your back center piece, back center top layer, and that pins on top of these 2 layers, just like that. It should have a little bit of overlap. right, DC, do a little rotation for the camera. So now we have the front, the sides, and the back panels all pinned into place. Last but not so good. Last but not least. All right. So your pattern that says top belt and it says fold. You cut this on the fold, so it's going to be double the length when you finish cutting it out, right? This is the top. So this goes across the top like, actually line up too far. Across the top like so. So it goes on top of the side panel and a little bit on top of the front panel. You're going to pin that into place. Rotate it up. Cool. Then you have your piece that says bottom belt. It goes under that top layer and lines up like so. You're going to pin that to place. Just like that. Thank you. Now all your layers are pinned into place. And now you can take this to the sewing machine and sew it all down. But I know some of you cosplayers are not sewers yet, and that's okay. You can still use this marine vinyl and glue everything into place using your contact cement. Nice. All right. Everything is pinned in place. Give us one more swirl. Slow, slow, slow. So that we see. Everything's pinned in place. You see how it all came together? This is how it needs to flow together. Yeah. All right, now I'll show you one more thing that adjustment I'm making. Go to the back, please. The top layer belt is a little long, so I'm just gonna cut the excess off. And when I sew this, move this out the way so you can see. So now when I sew this onto the elastic, this top belt layer stops right there, and that's how it's all gonna come together. So I just have to cut a little bit off, like so. So make that adjustment accordingly to the person that you're fitting this skirt for, and it'll be all good. Hey. So now I'm gonna line up my front panel with the center of my elastic. So I find my center, line it up here, sew it into place. So now my front panel is sewn onto my elastic. Next, I pin the back panel into the center of the back of the elastic, and I'm going to sew this all into place. Next, line up your side pattern where it needs to be. It's going to overlap the back a little bit. I'm not going to sew where it overlaps on the back. I'm going to start sewing right here where it doesn't overlap. And to finish the skirt, I'm going to sew Velcro to the front to close the flap of the skirt. Here. So I'm going to sew Velcro right here. I'm going to sew the other piece of Velcro here. Repeat for the other side. And we have a skirt. I think it looks good on you. Yeah. Turn. Turn, turn, turn. Yeah. You happy? It looks good. Hey. One more step closer to you having your Wonder Woman cosplay. And there you have it. Wonder Woman skirt is done. I hope this method helped a lot of you get your Wonder Woman skirt complete. I like the ability to just unvelcro it, slip it on, and then velcro it back. And Dana really liked that as well. Also, I like using the blue vinyl because you don't have to paint it after it's done. It's already the color you need it to be. So this is a really great fabric for this skirt. You can also do the gold trim on the bottom. I know I didn't do that yet. I might add that, or Dana might add that. But yes, Wonder Woman does have a gold trim on the bottom of the skirt that you can add to the bottom of these pieces. Go for it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, thumbs up, hit that subscribe and that bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video or tutorial. Next week, we'll be working on the leg armor and the shoes. Always remember, adventure awaits. So get out into the world and explore. And I'll see you next time. Peace.